Hello, good morning. My name is Chinedum. I am a consultant for the Sage Pastel Payroll and HR. Right now, I'm going to take us through a demo of how the payroll and HR software work. You can just open it through the shortcut on the desktop here. I have my payroll open already. Now, if you look at the top, that's for my mouse. This is where it shows you the company that's open, and this is the database name ABC 2013. Then underneath at the bottom you see the period, the monthly period showing period 12, and the end date, the weekly period, and if there's a bi-weekly period you also have to see it here. Now you have some icons on the desktop. You have the file, the edit, the process, the viewed setup, and all that, and you have the HR logo here as well as the ESS. So I'll now take us through the master file. What's the master file? The master file simply shows us all the staff information in just one place. It is synonymous to what you have as you have your file folders of each employee. On the master file, you will see a summary of all employee information. You can see the first name and the surname. You can attach pictures and photographs of employees. You have the start date and everything that shows the status and all. You have the addresses here. You have the contact details in here. On the payments tab, you can choose whether it's a monthly or weekly employee, payment method, the bank transfer, check, or whatever it is, the pay point, which you can use to differentiate the branches you're paying for. And this is the cost center and the occupation as well. This shows the banking information here. You set up the bank you want the person to pay to and attach that as well. This way you do that, set up, choose the type of banking account, whether it's savings, transmission, or whatever it is. That's what you do here. For the rate breaks down the employee salary into the daily, weekly, hourly, and everything there. The rate automatically updates once you update the payslip. We'll get to the payslip in just a moment. Here you specify the working days, how many hours a day, how many hours a week, and how many days in the month, as well as on the space as well. For the tax, this way you have tax information. You choose whether it's single or married, and the method the tax calculation is used. That's what you use in here for the tax calculation. Tax number as well, and type, nature of person. For the loans, if you give your employees loans, on the loans tab you could set up the loans you give your employee. I will open one loan I set up for us to just take a look. Put the description, the date it was issued, and when you start paying and when it will end. Here you have the default amount that we pay daily. So this is what the loan is all about. And if you want to add interest as well, you have to choose whether you want it in amount or in percentages. So you do all this here. Savings as well, if you're doing savings or just a Ghana share. Then the leave, this is the leave tab. This way you allocate different leaves to each employee. You can set up whether it's annual, sick, maternity, whatever kind of leave, with the opening balance and whatever is left, and it's updated on each employee master file. User define, with the user define field, you capture any other information you think is necessary aside those that the Sage Pastel Partner Payroll provides fields for. So you have your alphanumeric, you have your numeric fields, you have a date field, you have your next no field. Also, the user defined fields can be used when you need to write special formulas that are linked to each employee. Right now, let me go back to the personnel. With the scroll button, you could go forward to next employee. You could see different employees and all their information. Everyone here. You can also use the zoom tool here to select which employee you need to go to. Open the person and look at it. That's fine. So I'm going to close here and go over to the payslip proper, which is the meat of the software, where you need to calculate everything that has to do with finance. To go to the payslip, you go to process payslips. Now, for the payslips, one thing that is very key is that Sage Pastel Partner Payroll works with the legislations. So once you have the software, you don't have the trouble of using your Excel to calculate your taxes, your payees, your loans, your pension, your medical aid, whatever it is. As far as the country's legislation is concerned, this is what it's calculated with. That is to say, if the software is used in South Africa, it works with the legislation of South Africa. If it's used in Kenya, it works with the legislation of Kenya. If it's used in Nigeria, it works with the legislation of Nigeria. No matter the country it's used with, use the country in Qatar, in the UAE, whichever country it is, it works with that legislation. So the trouble of trying to calculate how these legislative calculations or statutory deductions are done is no longer a problem. Now, just the same way we went through the master files, you could go singly here to go through all employee payslips and all that. Now this is for this employee now. For the pay slips, you have a shortcut here as well. These are transactions. So on the payslip here, these are transactions, and if you see when you select transaction at the bottom, you see name of the transaction. So as you keep going down, it changes which transaction it is. That's what the payslip is for. That's the payslip. And the payslip, you have the default tab which has all the transactions, and when you go to the income tab, it shows only transactions that are income transactions. You go to deduction, it shows only transactions that are deduction transactions. Those are benefits, those are company contributions. The leave transactions, this is where you process your leave at the default. For leave, you want to process a leave, for instance, you want to process an annual leave for an employee, you open it, you choose which date the employee is going for leave, going on leave, you choose it. It's just pretty simple. Just click off a button. You automatically calculate it and gives you a response. That's the way it works here. Yes, and you save, and it saved up for the leave. I'll go back to transactions. This is everything you need to know. If you notice, those that are in blue here, those are the statutory transactions. They're legislative. You can't change anything here. For instance, you go here, you see his personal allowance relief. You go here, is a child allowance relief, the dependent allowance relief. This is pension, pay, which is a tax, whatever it is. For instance, you want to check and be sure that this calculates according to the legislation of the country you're using it for, or when the formula you write, you go to the view calc here, you click on it, and it shows you what it's for and what's it calculating with. So you can always verify at different times whether this is working nicely the way it's supposed to be. Now let's check, what does the payslip look like? I have to go there. I can actually see the payslip for each employee. This is a shortcut for the payslip. Actually, for each employee, this is just a default of what the payslip looks like. You could customize it to suit you anyhow you want it to look like. This is just a default of the payslip. Now, something else I didn't show us. When you go to the payslips, the transactions on the Sage Pastel Partner Payroll, that the system has set up so many of them. So you have that from 5,000 to 9,999 are already set up for you to use. But in any case, if you need to set up any transaction, you still have between 8,000 to 4,999 open for you to customize to suit you specifically for whatever it is your organization or your company requires to set up. So you can customize your own income transaction, you can customize your own deduction transaction, whichever kind of transaction you can customize your own peculiar to your organization. That's now, let's go to the reports. When you do payroll without the reports, it doesn't make sense. So for the reports, this is where the payroll officer or the person in charge of the HR or the finance department or the boss, the managing director, the managers need to see what's happening, how's it done, what happened. So you can, for instance, let's just check a monthly report here. Again, to just let you know, the monthly reports or the reports on the payroll, we have about 30 customized reports in there already. But again, employees or organizations have different kind of reports peculiar to them. In that case, you can also choose which kind of report you want and we'll customize it to suit your business. Now, I'm just going to monthly summary. You could choose either to print on screen or on printer or export to Excel or Word, whichever you want. Let's choose a screen and you open to, you can also choose monthly analysis. You're doing for just the current month or every month. Let's choose for all the 12 months. You could choose whether you want only summary or you want details. You go to details, you say okay, and it pulls everything down. For each employee, you will see clearly the different months and what the person has earned till date. Go next employee to show you everything. So one thing you should find is that the reports are key parts of the payroll software. We understand that it's very, very, very key. Let's also see another kind of report here. You can say the monthly payroll summary, which you export to your Excel. So that's the, if you're still cool and comfortable with your Excel, you can also go to your Excel and go through them and use them. Here you can see the code, employee name, and all the information. Every part of the pay slip component is shown there. So this is what it's all about. And the sweet thing is that you can also process bank transfers. So you could get your bank just the same way you do your bank schedule you send to your bank, or you're importing via your online banking. You could process your bank transfers as well. And here you choose the bank you want. If your bank is not here, what simply happens is that you just give us your bank format that you use, will write it for you, bank file, and you can do an actual transfer and do whatever you need to do. Now, another very important part of the payroll software is the help screen. The help is so interactive that if you find yourself on any screen and you're lost and you don't know what to do, you simply press the F1 key and it's a help screen that explains that particular screen on which you are comes up to show you how to navigate this. So you don't need to miss your way. No matter where you are, open the payslip for instance, press the help screen, shows you what the payslip is all about. Open the status, press F1, it shows you exactly what the system service is all about and how to explain that. So before you even try to get across to a consultant because you're confused, you first of all can get into the pay, use the help function and navigate your way and be sure of how to go about this and everything you want. Now, the HR toggle, let's get into the HR. So look at it as well. Now, something else I forgot. A very key important thing is the note facility. With the note facility, you can set up reminders specific to a particular employee or just a normal reminder and tag to that employee as a reminder, fix the date. And with the reminders, even if your payroll software is closed, you can at all times, it will prompt you that this is due. This note facility, you can also get it from here directly. So at any time the date is due, it will prompt you that it is due for you to carry out the action or the reminder you set up there. Let's go to the HR. The HR is similar to the payroll, it's just a toggle here. I click on HR, you get in there. That's the same way it works. So let me open the company. Open a company. The different thing now is that the HR toggle, when you get into the master file, everything just looks the same, the file, edits, process, and all that. When you go into the master file, you have more information. What's HR? Human Resource Information Management Systems. Here you keep staff employee information so that they are readily retrieved and available when they are needed. So on the HR, you now have detailed information on the job. So you can see more detailed information on the job. You go to employment history, which shows the timeline of which person from how the person has moved from one department to another. The medical tries to capture the medical information of his employee as well as the dependent information. Company assets. What are the company properties in possession of this employee? You can always have it there. So that at any time the employee is leaving the organization or whatsoever, you can always call up which asset is linked to this employee. You can also attach pictures to these assets for easy location. Training. Any employee going for a training, you put information here, the institution, the type of training, and the cost of training if need be. Educational information, you also capture the same information here. Actions. You also capture any action here as well. Disciplinary. There's so many of them. Again, another sweet thing here is the system has also been set up in such a way that there are different actions. Most of the workplace actions have been generated here and it uses the human resource or the HR hierarchy of disciplinary, where each action has, whether it's a verbal warning, the first verbal or the written or the first written or the final or dismissal, whatever it is. So you have most of the workplace behaviors that are bad or workplace offenses here as well. So you don't need to go through the stress of trying to set up. But if whatsoever you think you need to add more, yes, you are very free and it's flexible enough for you to include more offenses. Reviews, this way you do a performance review. So if you set up any performance review, you could add whatever it is you need to add for whichever person and do your reviews as well. So that's what performance reviews. Discard and close in here, equity as well. Now, the same way the payroll has a report, that's the same way the HR has reports. The view button is for reports. Remember, I told you that. You go to people reports, you could see different kind of things, so many of them. Let me say I want to check birthday listing for all employees. Is going to list the birthday listing, so you don't need to keep going through Excel or whatever it is. You can open your birthday listing directly on your software and go through them and go through whatever you want, whatever it is you want to see. Another good thing is statistical reports, which tries to show, this shows parameter health head count. So it's showing departments and head count statistics. In the way statistics, bar charts, and whatever it is. Also, another thing is the templates we have in here. So we know that HR people are very busy. We don't need to keep you going round and round trying to locate something. For that reason, we also developed templates you could also customize for your own need. So for the templates, we also have employment contract. So you could also modify this to suit you as well and put them right in here. how you want it to be, whatever it is. It's an employment contract. You also have your grievance form, for instance. You also have written warning, whatever it is. This software is flexible enough to make your business go smoothly. Let me tell you something. What we always say. People say when you use the software, people get laid off. No, what's happening is that with this software, your work becomes easier. Payroll and employee management becomes less stressful and more efficient. Thank you as you go on to make a purchase of the Sage Pastel Partner Payroll and HR.